Atia,
Yeah.
I can hear you.
Okay.
Come here. Come here, babies. Come on, Abs. You hungry? Where am I at? Oh my gosh. I can't even find out where I'm at.
Can you hear me? Or do you think I need to plug in?
I can hear
I
you.
can hear you.
I don't know. Okay. We're all good.
I'm ready to plug in anyway.
That's, okay. Us lovely people can hear you. I know. What I was telling you earlier, Jonathan, is my
Hang on,
Bluetooth
sis.
will not work with life size at all. I have no Bluetooth will work with it. And I don't know why, because I'm using the internet. I mean, yeah, the web browser
You
Chrome.
sound okay now?
Yes, I
Yeah.
see. Yeah, thank you. I'm glad. But earlier, it's like my Bluetooth won't work with this life size deal for some reason. It just
Tell him,
won't.
throw this away.
And it's really weird.
Thank you.
And my
Hang on.
phone is a newer phone, and it doesn't have an headphone jack, which
Yeah,
is crazy. I
all
don't know why.
the
It's really
new phones that I got my kids and myself, they won't take a jack either.
Yeah, I know. I got one of those foldy phones.
I don't
Those
know
are
if we're
really
just
cool.
old school or what. They won't take one.
I'm old school, man. I want one, but I like the newer foldy one. I'm
My
having
son
fun with
went
it.
through two of those. My son went through two of them. What you got?
Oh man, yeah. I
Two of
guess he's
them. That,
probably hard on
and
him
and
because he's a
I'm not
boy.
getting. Oh man, you start to break up now. Oh, you're frozen.
Are you kidding me?
Hello?
Hello.
I
I
can hear you
cannot.
now, but you're
I'm
like,
gonna try to get another. Wow, that's crazy. I can't figure out what's going on. Why me? And before, right?
never. Not that I heard anyway.
Hair out of my way. Dang it, this hair. Oh, what do you? Look, here's food, baby doll. Come on, let's eat, baby. You know, right there. It's time to eat. You hear me?
Yeah,
Can you hear
a
me,
little
Eagle?
bit. I can
I want to
now.
show you something really quick.
You're
Huh?
still breaking up. You're like, we can't really see your
I'm still
face.
breaking up.
Yeah.
I don't know what's going on. I wonder if it's a setting.
No, I don't know.
Settings. Hold on. Camera one facing front.
Hello.
Oh,
Brother, today we were talking about let me see if you could hear me without the same phone there right now. Can you hear me?
Yeah.
Okay.
yeah.
Okay, Sean, today we're talking about different things. We went over a lot of different things about prayer. If you can get a hold of Diane Reese, she has all the notes on that. And then we're going to talk about a little bit more about different stuff pertaining to God and religious things and ceremonies. And so we're going to be getting on that whiteboard here in a minute. So that's what
Sounds
we're
good.
going to do.
I'm trying to be back.
We
Is
hear
that
you
any better?
loud and
Hey,
clear.
pardon?
We can hear you loud and clear now.
Woo. Hey, I wanted to show you something really quick, Eagle. Look, I've got this deal, and it's a tablet, okay, and it has it has pins with it. I don't know if you can see this. They're drawing pins, okay, and these are little buttons here, but you plug it up to your computer, And if you have this and this, you can write anything you want, and it comes out in your handwriting on your computer, and it comes out in a file.
Well, the committee
Yeah.
bought me one too, but it's not
Mhm.
working. Emily, can you look at those notes on that deal? I put the committee bought me one that matches
Okay, yeah, this is a
matches my computer. Get the instructions and see if you can get this to
yeah,
work,
this is a
Emily.
Wacom one.
It will not work for me.
Yeah.
Let's
God, I wish I was there, dude.
Yeah.
Well, Emily could probably get it though. I've just
Yeah,
done it. I've been on Illustrator, and I've used it on
you see,
Illustrator before.
you see it? And it's got buttons
Yeah.
on it.
See? Oh,
I got
yeah.
buttons. I got different tips to it, but it
Yeah.
takes a battery. Maybe that battery
Yeah,
ain't
you
no
got
good. I
little
don't know.
nibs that go with it.
Yeah.
You don't have a battery in your pen, I don't think, do you? Oh.
Yeah.
Hmm. Did your tablet hook to your computer? I mean, huh.
It's not a tablet. It's a
That's
pen that's
strange.
made
I've
for
never seen one like that.
made for the whiteboard.
Oh, yeah, yeah. That's different. This is like a tablet thing. You write on it with your pen, and it comes out on your computer like an image, and you can save it, and you can share it, and you can do whatever with it. But anyway, I just thought I'd show that to you. It's called Wacom,
Oh, I
WACOM.
did it again. This is my college stuff. Hang on.
Yeah, it did. But you know how to share?
I know, but I'm not.
Who?
I'm
Claire?
sharing the wrong stuff.
Leave her out, would you? Thanks.
See, I'm writing on it right now.
Oh
Nothing's happening.
no. Yeah. There must be some way you can. Holy cow! What's
Emily,
what's
did you
the
find
brand
those
name of the
instructions?
pen?
Howard Packer is the same as my computer, HP.
HP. Then it should work. And you got a touch screen, right? I'm assuming.
Yes.
That's
Yep.
a pretty simple question, but you got to have a touch screen, right?
Yep, you have to have one to be able to use it. I thought it came with
I
one, but
know
it didn't
it's
come with one.
ridiculous how. Dang it! I wish I was there. Like I said, Emily's capable, of course, but I'm a little familiar with Illustrator and doing that kind of stuff. I took your apprentice paper off. I love my pen.
Whoa.
Good. Words everywhere.
Well, oh, bye.
Are you writing? Oh no.
Can you guys see that?
I don't see anything.
Sean,
All I
can
see
you
is
see
your
it?
paper from
Yeah,
college.
yeah, I could see it. I opened my whiteboard and I could see it.
You're gonna open your whiteboard.
Oh, do you have to do that? I don't have one. It says nothing. I'm on my phone. Oh, listen to me whine.
Do you see it, sis?
I don't see anything. All I see is your apprentice program paper.
Watch you. Look at me. Sit over there and look at me. Back up.
Yeah, I see you like a Word document or
Yeah.
something.
Okay, it says, Wakanda ka Dayana Biatma. Working like there's something on it. I tried it. What is it? What did the instructions say?
Turn on the pen by tapping the tip to insert this.
I cannot read this. Oh.
Hey, no, you're in jump over. Okay, I'm gonna give you a chance to translate this, Sean. Wakanda means, hold on, let me show, I want to change this up like we're into it. The reason I'm doing that, Sean, is because those are separating the words. Wakanda called the Aeon thy Biatma. Look at me.
Hmm.
Sit over there.
The same God loves me. The same God loves me.
Hold on, maybe this right here means this is maybe you can't read it good. Jeez, I just gotta use my hand. Hang on. That's what this means right here.
They say
Yeah.
God loves me.
That's it. That's exactly right. They say that God loves me. And give me one of those tongues. Wakanda ka la ea thy biatma. Go ahead, say it, Jonathan.
Wakanda ka. Dei da. Piyama.
Yes, Sister Connie.
Wakanda. Yeah.
Connie.
Is she muted?
Yeah.
Oh, okay.
Go ahead, say it.
Miss Jan's watching the basketball. Oh yeah, I love that.
Are you there? All I can see is your paper. I can't see a whiteboard.
Hang on.
Oh, dang it.
Give me that water. Can you see it now?
I can't see it. All I see is your apprentice paper or your appreciation, whatever paper.
Can you guys
I
see the
have no
whiteboard?
whiteboard. Hey, Eagle, I just sent you a picture of what I can see on your messenger. It shows you what all I can see. But yeah, I can't.
I could see the whiteboard when I click on
I've been
open
messing with
whiteboard.
everything. Yeah, mine doesn't have open whiteboard. I've got those 3 dots and I've got like participant list, raise your hand, picture in picture, and I've got settings and help, and that's it.
You don't
What
have
about
I
any
don't know how to make it work.
Connie, you don't have any like icons at the very right part of the screen that
Mm,
shows like participant
no, I
list,
don't.
like if you hover over them?
I have that. Yeah, I have the little lock image. It's on my left. A little lock image, participant list, and then a red dot for recording.
What about now?
Oh, now I see it.
You see it
Yes.
now?
See, I did it wrong.
Oh,
I
okay.
see it now. What'd you
Now we
do?
can all see it.
I
He
see it.
shared it. Yeah, he shared it now. Eagle shared it.
Oh, right.
See, I shared it earlier, but I shared it only with the, what do you call it? That my school document, my homework I got to finish tonight.
What is fortissimo?
Yeah, you did, and that's all I could see. That's all I could see. I sent you a picture of what I was seeing, so you could understand.
What is
Cool.
pianissimo?
Thank you.
Yeah.
I'm sorry. Was that for me?
No, it's an early quiz. What is fortissimo? Fortissimo.
What is it?
Oh, fortissimo. That's
Oh,
isn't
you're
that
talking about
forte?
my-
Like forte?
you're
There's
talking about my-
forte, fortissimo, and fortissimoso. Forte is loud. Fortissimo.
Forte, isn't that loudly?
Oh, they're increasing in loudness, whether you have one F, two Fs, three Fs.
Yeah, that's loudly.
How about pianissimo?
That's
There's
quiet,
piano.
soft.
It's very quiet. No,
Yeah,
dolce.
pianissimo is very soft.
No, dolce is
No,
soft.
here.
That means
Okay, go ahead,
Yeah,
Connie. Say
piano.
this, son. Let's get focused.
Yeah.
That's my fault.
I'm gonna
showing
give
you
it a
guys
shot.
that
Wakanda aka daka de bama. I can't see the end of it. Bama. E. Daka
I'm
de
gonna break it down here.
bama. I'm sorry. It was just the very end of it. I couldn't see. Wakanda aka the a the a. Okay. They are they are they biama. They are they biama. Eek. I'm not sure. Wakanda ka the eggs are by biama. The
Wakanda.
the
Wakanda.
the
Wakanda. Wakanda.
biama. They egg they. They egg they.
Yeah.
They egg they.
Yeah.
The a on thy.
Thy.
Da.
So thy is at the end of the egg thy. Why am I putting an A on it?
A on
They
thy. Thy.
They
A on thy.
they are onk thy. They are onk thy. They
No.
egg.
They
Ooh, they
a
are onk thy.
on I. The a on thy.
Okay. So the A sounds like A. The second A sounds like an A.
Look right
It's
there.
not
Right there. Let me show you something. No, it isn't all. It's
Okay.
an E right there, what I got right
Okay.
there.
Oh, I
That
thought I was
E
going
makes
nuts.
the A sound right here. Look.
Okay. I'm looking. So the E and the A together. The A on thy. They are on thy.
That's it, Connie.
That's tough.
They are on they. Thy. Oh
No.
gosh. They are on they.
No.
Thy. God, why do I keep getting that wrong? Thy.
That's the
No.
A.
I'm sorry.
A on thy.
A. Oh, I keep saying they a on thy. They a on thy. They a og thy.
No. The.
They a og thy. Nope.
There's no they right here. It's the.
The. Okay, the a on thy. Oh, I've lost my
Yeah.
mind.
Da,
They
a,
oh,
thy.
da a on thy.
No, there's no G.
They a on thy.
No,
No
there's
G.
no they in it.
It's an A. They e. I'm putting a G in there. I can't do it. Oh my gosh. The a on thy. Ta-da. I'm so sorry. I'm not trying to
No, this is the
keep
only
it
way
up
you're gonna learn.
every minute.
You're doing good. You're doing
Gotta learn.
The only way you're gonna learn.
Yeah. Oh, I'm
Go ahead,
sure
say
of
it now.
that. Okay. I just can't get it to they no, the a on thy. They a
No.
on thy. They. It's like THEY,
Da,
they. Oh, the.
da.
I keep saying the.
You keep saying they.
And now it's that A that's messing me up. That EA thing.
This right here
Da,
is da,
da,
and this is
A.
a because this is the word right
Uh-huh.
here.
A, the, A, die. Da, A, da, A, they, die.
There.
Da, A, die. They,
You
da,
said it.
A,
Yeah.
die. That's a
Listen,
tough one.
listen, what,
Aeon.
Sean, what I told them earlier, our weakest link is our strongest and vice versa. And our strongest and our weakest, they play the same key role. We got to stay on it until we each get it. And when we do that, we have to be patient with each other. But, sis, you just got to study, see what you're not.
Yeah.
I know you studied it before, but
Yeah.
you're not saying
Yeah,
the vowels right. You got to get back on that. Let me
it's
see.
that
Hang on.
I got the vowels. I didn't know about that AE thing. I really didn't, or I didn't remember it. I probably just didn't remember it. Da a gulai they die. Da a die.
Just open your
Da
dictionary
a
up.
die. Da a die. Okay. Do it. Oh, you know what else would help sometimes? I wonder if a pronunciation guide, like in the dictionary, might help sometimes,
Well, that's what you got to study.
It's
That's
just a
something
thought.
you have to study on your own. I'll put it on there on the
That's
first
me,
one.
right?
You got to. I'm talking to you. You got a
That's
dictionary
probably too much to write.
on page 3.
I know. Yep. Page 3.
No, I got it all wrote down on the first classes. I already wrote them. I don't need to write them down
Oh
every
yeah,
time.
yeah.
You just got to pay attention and go over it.
No,
Part of this is going
no.
to be if you
We keep our
if you
notes.
really want to learn Ponca, you're going to have to start studying. It's just like this college degree I'm going after. I have to study.
Yes, you do. Yes, I do. Yes, we do. It's just that EA thing just threw me. I had no idea, and if I did know it before, I totally forgot it.
See, look, it's this right here.
But
Da a on
da
thy.
a on thy, da a on thy,
See,
da a on thy,
that's all.
da
A little bit of practice. A
da
little
a
bit of
on thy.
practice. Patience. And you got to have patience for yourself, not give it up. Because a lot of times
Yep.
when you know some of this stuff, but you try to guess, you cannot guess your way through this. You got to just take a breath, sis. Take a breath. You know this. You've been studying
Yep.
over a year, and just say, "I got this. I got this," and that's what we all got
Yeah.
to tell you. And then we're
I
gonna
got
tell
this.
you, "Hey, sis, you got this. Sean, you got this. Jonathan, you
All
got
right.
this.
Yes.
We got this."
Thank you.
Oh, you're gonna get it. And don't give up.
All right.
That's the key thing with
Not me.
character. Don't give up.
I'm not shy. I am not shy. I'll pronounce everything weird until I get it. Don't bother me.
Ganda ka. Da e dai. Yam.
Aeon.
Da e
Aeon.
dai. Yam.
Aeon.
They say God loves me.
wakunda. Eskana wakunda. No,
Ska. Ka. Na. Escon. Escana. Escano. Oh, no. Escano.
Eskana. Eskana.
Escana.
Eskana.
Escana.
Iskana.
Escana. Escana. Wakanda. Taiti. Escana. Escana. Wakanda. Escana.
La. A. D. They. Te. When you say Eskana, that literally means like, I hope. Hang on real quick. Go ahead and try that one. Mr. Conley.
Escana. Wakanda. Taiti de te. Taiti de te. Escana. Wakanda. Taiti de te. Da a. Da a. Da e. Da e. Ah. Da e ti de te. De te. Da e ti de te. Da e ti de te. Escana. Wakanda. Da e ti de ta. Te. Ah. Te.
Okay, you got it, Sean. Just slow down.
Yeah.
It's the, a, the, they, they.
Da e ti de te. Da e ti de te. Da e ti de te. Da e ti de
Yeah.
te. Wakanda.
So when
Escana. Wakanda. Da e ti de te.
yeah. So when you say Eskana Wakanda, the A, the te.
Da e di
Eskana Wakanda, the A, the te.
Da e ti de te.
Yeah.
Yeah. No,
The
thanks.
A,
Thank
the
you for correcting me. Yeah, da e ti. I'm trying to go
Yeah.
when you get those back to back vowels, that's where I'm struggling, like where I have like an A and an I together and an A and an E. And then I'm trying to remember to put the accent on the proper vowel too. So da.
These ones are kind of easy when they got this little
The
stop
stop,
right there.
Yeah, the
It's okay
stop.
because it's the A,
Da,
the te.
da, e di ti te.
The other
Da,
one. The other one.
e di
Yeah.
ti te. Da, e te ti te. Te, ah. Da, e ti te te.
So now when you say Eskana Wakanda, the A, the te. And then
Da,
as you
e.
get more time, you just say Eskana Wakanda, the A, the te. Now go ahead, translate that, Connie.
I hope the Creator will bless you.
Say it one more time. I couldn't hear you.
Oh, I'm sorry. I hope the Creator will bless you.
Yes. Yes, they're that good.
You just a giggle, huh? Big old giggle.
Because
I
I'm
love
so
it.
glad you guys are getting it. Some people
Yes.
never get it.
That's the hardest part for me,
I know
though, too,
people
is,
down here that are,
vowel noun. And then,
yeah, there's people that are a couple decades older than me, 20 years older than me, that they couldn't get it, so they quit trying. Don't be that type of
it's
person.
hard. You ain't looking at
But if
me.
you keep trying it, listen, if you keep being repetitive,
Hmm.
you can't do nothing but win in the end.
This right here, these classes are helping me more than anyone would probably know. This is
Yeah.
so much
No,
better than
good.
trying to do it on my own. I
I just
love
gotta
it.
slow it down. I just gotta slow it down. I know I'm trying to blend too much too quickly. Yeah.
No, you're doing good. Don't doubt yourselves. Don't get that doubt. Nothing. You guys got this. I'm telling you. Calm down. Calm. I talked to my grandpa Lewis earlier. He said he don't know who's teaching them classes on Tuesday nights, but I'm gonna go to see who's there. I can't wait to do stuff like that. You know, I love it. I love to watch classes being taught.
So Tuesday we're doing 6 to 8:30, right, Eagle? Because you're going to the class with us 7 to 8:30.
Yeah. Yes.
Okay. Okay. Good.
Jawagala.
Oops. Hit the wrong button.
Oh, I was gonna do that in a different color. We're gonna go with green.
Tuesday is what? 7 to
It's
8:30?
six. It's 6 to
6 to
it's
8:30.
6 to 8:30.
Okay. Thank you.
This one right here says Wakanda ka Jawagala. Wakanda ka Jawagala. Go ahead, say it, Jonathan.
Wakanda aka. Jawaglai.
Yes. Say it, Sean.
Wakanda ka. Jean Wag Jean Wag Da Te
Jawaglai.
Jawag Dai. Jawag Dai.
Wakanda ka Jawaglai.
Jawag Dai.
Just say this last part right here. That's the only part you're having trouble with. Glide.
Da
Glide.
Dai. Dai.
Almost like this way.
Okay. Okay. Glide. Glide.
Yeah, you said it just right
Glide.
now. You
Glide.
see that,
Okay.
you guys? You said it just right now.
That help. That help you put
Wakanda
it
ka
up like that.
Jawaglai. Sister, go ahead.
Jean Wang Glai. Thank you.
You see, you said it. That's what we got to do. We got to find out how we could do it to better one another, and that's what we got to do.
Am I the only sister here?
Yes.
Wakanda ka Zawagdai. Zawagdai. Zawagdai.
Say it slow one more time, sis.
Zawagdai. Wakanda ka Zawagdai. 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 I think I had it the first time.
You got it the first time.
Zawagdai. Okay. Thank you.
Say it again, Connie.
Zawagdai. Glide. You have glide
Jawagdai.
there. Ja, wa, gdai.
Yes. You guys see this L right here? It's really helping you because that's what we're familiar with in our language, in our English language. It's harder when it's like this way.
Did I get that part? Gdai?
Say it
Is
all
that
together
correct?
again.
Gdai? Like that?
Yeah,
Ja, wa,
glide.
gdai.
Correct.
Okay, thank you.
Let's go do it, George. Okay, Jonathan, what does Wakanda mean?
God.
Connie, what does Akal mean?
The or the.
Okay, now Sean, Jawagla meant he is with us.
He is with us. So the
Okay, now
sense. Yeah.
this is real similar. This is Jean Anglais. Jean Anglais. Jean Anglais.
Jean Anglais. Jean Anglais. Jean Anglais. He is with us.
That's what Emmanuel means.
God with us. Yep.
Yep.
Okay, now Jean Anglais means he is with me. So go ahead and translate this, Jonathan.
God is with me.
That's correct. Wakanda Kajawagla. God is with me. Wakanda Kajawagla. Wakanda Ka. Say it loud. Jangla.
God.
Jean Anglais.
Wakanda Ka. Jangla. Good. Go help your brother feed them dogs and come
Wakanda.
back.
Jean Anglais. Wakanda ka. Jean Anglais. Jean Anglais.
Wakanda Ka. Jangla. Jangla.
Jean Anglais.
Throw it up there. Jangla.
Jean Anglais.
Remember, right here, look. Remember these? Jangla.
Jean Anglais.
Yeah, like that. Now we know you're talking.
Jean Anglais.
Mm-hmm. Now, go ahead, Jonathan. Say the whole sentence.
Wakanda Ankar. Jean Anglais.
Yes. Can you guys still see it? Oh, I'm sorry. I didn't even know you're on there, Barbara. That's why I was looking at you.
Hey,
Okay,
Barbara,
now
you're sneaky. She's sneaky.
Apologize for being late.
oh, you're fine. Okay, you missed
You're
out
just
on just
sneaky.
this. I'm gonna show you real quick what you missed out on. Hold on.
When I came, you were doing Eskana Wakanda da Eri de Te. Yeah, I saw
That's
that
ugly.
one. I saw that one, Eagle.
Did you see them all then?
That was the first one I saw. Eskana Wakanda da Eri de Te.
Okay. All right, we're gonna move on real quick.
Hey, the only one before that was yeah, that was
That
it.
was the first
Wakanda
one.
ka Lakade. Okay. Yay.
There's a fire just west of the barn that had me kind of crazy, glungling.
No.
Yeah.
Is it okay?
Well, it was
Oh my
dying
gosh.
down by the time I left.
Oh, well, that's a-
Oh, good. Very good. You're real lucky to have, your neighbors that you have. I know
Yeah.
they're just, very, very good at what they do on a daily basis, which is the earth. They're lovely.
Yeah. And thank you for your prayers. Little Fanny is home from the hospital.
oh. Did you feed them? Thank you. That's a command. That's a command. God. Towards, go, command. God, way, there, by way. These are translated pretty much the same way. Wakonda etali shump malinga. Wakonda etali shump malinga. Wakonda etali shump malinga. Wakonda uskan eta ke ihaga. Wakonda uskan eta ke ihaga.
Wakanda
Go ahead.
Ushka Itake Iyak.
We're gonna start off with Diane. Not Diane, but Sister Barbara. Go ahead. Try to say the first one.
Wakanda eta dishon Mandinga. Wakanda eta dishon Mandinga.
Say it again, sister.
Wakanda eta dishon Mandinga. Wakanda está de Mandinga.
Close enough. Little more état de champ. I can't hardly hear that D in there. État de champ.
Está de Shang.
Yeah. I could hear it that time. Do the second row, sis.
Wakanda Ushka Etake Ihaga.
Yes.
If
Go
I'm
ahead,
a
Jonathan.
if I'm a woman, would I say Iha?
No, but I asked you to read the sentence as a man, just how it's wrote. You would just say
Okay.
iha.
Iha. Okay.
Wakanda Etadisha Malika
Mm-hmm.
Wakanda Ushka Etake Ihaka
Try it again.
Wakanda Ushka Etake Ihaka.
Good. Sister Barbara. Go ride your bike. Ride it back and forth right there and we'll watch you.
You talking to me?
No, don't ride your bike, but just read number 1.
I had a turn. Did somebody else go?
Talking about Sister Connie. I'm sorry.
You said Barbara.
I know.
Wakanda. Wakanda etadisha madika. Wakanda etadisha madika. How'd I do?
You got it. I could understand it.
Okay.
The second one.
Wakanda ushka. I'm sorry. Wakanda ushka itake inaka ihaga. Wakanda
No.
ushka itake ihaga. No.
You can't
Wakanda
say itake.
ushka itake. Ugh. I'm doing English again. Wakanda ushka itake ihaga.
Good. Good one. Good one. Brother Sean,
Did I get it?
you did.
You did good, Connie. All right. Wakanda Etadisha Mandinga.
Mm-hmm.
Wakanda Ushkan Etake Ihaga.
You guys did good. Now tell me, what does it mean? I'm gonna let you go first, Sean.
The
If you
top
get it
one.
wrong, they mean the same thing.
Oh, they mean the same thing. Go by the way of God, or go with go. Yeah, that's what I would say. Go towards or go by the way of God. That'd be what I'd say.
Go ahead. I'm gonna let that go as
Okay.
I'm gonna count that. But
All right.
there's another way to translate it.
Okay.
I like that way too. Go ahead, Connie.
Uh-oh. Let's see. God. Go towards God by way, this way. Go towards God this way or over their way. Go towards God that way. There. Go
I
towards
like
God's
that
way.
too. Go ahead. We'll pass it to
Thank you.
Jonathan.
Seek God. Seek God in all that you do. Just seek God would state it in the most concise manner.
I like that way too. Go ride your bike. All right, so you get on it one time. Get on it. Okay, go ahead, Sister Barbara.
Go God's way.
I like all you guys' translations. One of the most easiest ways to say that is follow God's way. But all those ways, I'll count all of them. Follow God's way.
Follow God's way. Okay.
But all you guys said is good stuff, so I liked it. It can be done. It could be done that said in that same way. You guys did good. Wakonda etale shamalinga. Wakonda ushkan eta ke ihaga. We have to start saying them slow to be in the beginning so that you guys can try to get that pronunciation. Wakonda etale shamalinga. Wakonda ushkan eta ke ihaga. Try it one by one, and then we're going to move on.
Wakanda. Etadishan. Mandinga. Wakanda. Koshkan. Etake. Ihanga. Ihanga.
Next.
Wakanda, Etadishi, Malinga, Wakanda, Ushka, Itake, Ihaga.
Next.
How about me? Wakanda, Etalisha, Mariga. Wakanda, Ushka, Etake, Ihaga.
Next.
Wakanda et Talishan Malinga. Wakanda Ushka Etake Ihaga.
Good. All right, we're going to go ahead and erase this. You guys got this down?
Yeah.
Yep. Yep.
Okay, hang on. What if I drop my phone? Connie, we can hear you pretty good today.
I'm happy. Great. Uda.
We're going to take a brief pause on this. Okay, we're going to sing something, or what we're going to do?
They're
Am
the
I going to
same.
read something? So I need to get it ready. Yeah,
I want
let's
you to read
sing.
something. I'm going to sing something, but I want you to read.
Okay,
That's
I'm
why I
gonna get
said
it.
we can hear you pretty good.
Okay, Lewis Hedman.
Yeah.
I got to get it
hang on.
ready. Okay.
Eagle,
Hold on, let me. Yeah.
I have an extra credit word for you.
What?
Where it says decrescendo on your paper, the more common term is diminuendo.
You might need to screenshot that because I might need your help. I got to do that as soon as I'm done, but I got to watch this video on YouTube. And I'm talking about that guy, that maestro. He is going crazy with his hands. It's like he folded over, touched his head to his knees, shot back up, hair going crazy because he's got big puffed out hair. I mean, it was something to see. But I got all that shit that you saw. I got to write down the time frame.
Crescendo just means to like go up, you know, crescendo higher.
But did you see them blanks on the side of it to the right of them?
I didn't read it. No.
Well, they're blank.
So
I
you
gotta
have to
write
come up
down
with other words.
where the crescendos at, the parts, the
Oh,
different parts that it's talking about. I gotta watch that YouTube video and I gotta write down where he's starting to go up or where I think the
oh,
best place is. And so
oh,
I
I
gotta
see.
see the,
Did
on
they
all
give you
those
sheet
different.
music?
So everything on that,
No
I
sheet
gotta
music.
figure out
Oh,
when they're asking different parts of that music
you can't
where
even
they're
follow
doing
it.
in that orchestra. It's the Ninth Symphony.
Wow.
So when
So
Yeah,
then
Beethoven
get
I
is
gotta
nine.
Jonathan to help watch it with you. I'll be right back. Get Jonathan to watch it with you.
when I get done, I'll get out. When I get done, Jonathan, I'll hit you up on Messenger.
Yeah.
Yes,
Okay.
he's a pro. Be right back.
Hmm. Hmm. Son. I wanted
Yeah.
you to notice I tried to comb my hair like a badger today.
As long as you didn't try and do it like a prairie dog, man. That's all right.
No.
I'll wait till she comes back. Let me take a 5 minute break. I'm gonna use the restroom real quick.
Sounds good.
Okay.
Okay, we're back. So if you guys are ready.
Oh, so your class work, you have to watch a video and then do you write the measure numbers down?
Hang on real quick. Connie. Connie, after I get done singing this song real quick,
Yep.
I'm going to page 312.
312. Dang it.
This song right here, it says they were veteran songs made especially for the Ponca organization. These songs, according to the elders of the tribe, were made for all Jesuska members, regardless of their organizational affiliation. There are a number of songs of this type in modern times as in the past. Certain songs were composed by songmakers who designated certain individuals as recipients, particularly those who participated in the First and Second World War, were honored by the gift of some of these songs. In recent years, some of these Ponca men received their songs for serving in Korean, Vietnam, and Persian Gulf Desert Storm wars. This song right here says, Wakanda we got. It says, Wakanda wagi tambaga. 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 Wakanda wagi tambabe yo hey they do. And then it's got honor beats, 3 of them. Wakanda wagi tambaga, Wakanda wagi tambabe yo here, Wakanda wagi tambaga, 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 Wakanda wagi tambabe yo hey ere. Hello, skate, te, pakere, akida, wakanda wagi tambaga, wakanda wagi tambabe yo hele. And all the same in this song, it says, it's God, watch over us. It said, the Hedoshka is a difficult or hard way that I'm living it. I am living it. God, our Creator, watch over us. The Hedoshka is a hard way, and I'm living it. That's what it said. Wakanda wagi tambaga. It said Hedoshka te ida apakade. Hida. That's what it just said. When you get done with my teachings, all these songs in this book, you're gonna be able to sing them and read them. I don't even know that song when I turned that page, but I know how to read and write Ponca. I sung that. I never sung it in my life before.
What book is that in?
The same one you got.
What book is that in? Okay, I wasn't sure. What page you on?
There's
Go ahead.
Page 214.
there's songs all throughout the book. Like Eagle Ride's saying though, there's songs like all throughout the book.
Oh yeah.
Okay,
Okay.
listen.
Thanks.
Sister Barbara,
Notice
she's
what-
going to
which
read
one?
at a page 312. So if we can mute ourselves, she's going to read, but I'll unmute myself too if you start breaking up, Connie. Go ahead, the show's yours.
Okay, yeah. Just make sure you let me know, okay? You'd want the story of Monto? Is that correct?
Page 312.
Okay, I'm gonna just go with it. Yeah,
What page are you on?
this the one about bear. It says
Page
I'm on 311
312.
because mine's different, but it. Okay,
I'm
what
talking
is
about
it?
the
A story?
I'm talking about the Ponca
The
burials
song?
and the ancient burial sites. 312.
Okay,
What page are you on?
I'm trying to get there. Well, see, mine's different. Mine's on a phone,
I know, but it's
so I'm trying to,
312.
and it's
It says 312.
okay.
Eagle, sometimes ebooks are different than hardcover books. The page
No,
nation is different.
she's getting mixed up, thinking I'm talking about them songs on 311 and 312. I'm not.
Yeah, her
I'm talking
pages are
about the
different.
stories.
Yeah.
They could be, but she was thinking I'm talking about them songs earlier. She said, "What page are you on?" And I told her when I was talking about them songs, but that's not the story I want. The story I want done is about Ponca burials of the ancient way. Go ahead, sister.
Okay, I'm getting there. I'm getting there, honey. I'm sorry. I'm going past the songs. Ivushka. Man, I'm sorry, hon. I'm not finding it. Found give water. Dude, I'm so sorry. It's just I'm writing in burial and see if I can find it. I'm trying to search.
Ancient Ponca burials and practices.
Yeah, this is oh, I see it. Okay, hold on. Gosh, what is this doing? Oh, I had it and I lost it. Okay, so God, I had it and I lost it. Burials and practices.
Yeah.
Okay. I'm sorry it's taking so long.
You're all right.
Yeah, this is it's searching. I found the I think I found it. It's on 518 for me. It's weird. Come on. 518.
Eagle, what page is it in your book? 312?
I think mine says 518. Isn't that crazy?
Oh, Eagle's
I
muted.
think I just found it, but I feel like I'm stuck. Oh no. He's busy waiting on
364.
me to do nothing.
That's okay. We'll wait on you.
518.
Or unless you want Barbara to read it.
What page in the hardcover?
Either way, I'm getting it.
364.
364, Barbara. 364.
We'll let Barbara read it, Connie. Good, Sister Barbara.
I
if you
got
would.
it. I just had it.
Connie's got it.
I got it right there. Either way, Barbara, if you want to
ahead.
jump in, let me know.
Go ahead.
All right. This section investigates the Ponca burial system as it was formerly used. Oral history tells us that Ponca villages were usually set apart from such compounds as the Ponca fort site in Nebraska. Forts were used only in times of warfare, and individuals of high rank in the tribe in past times occupied the dwellings within the compound. The Ponca term for compound is naja. In modern times, the term has been attributed to the word fence. Reminiscent of the ancient compounds in the East and Southeast cultures, the construction and use of the Ponca fort site by the Ponca people is probably not far removed from their previous cultural affiliation. Near the fort site, the Ponca buried their dead. From time immemorial, according to oral history and tradition, the Ponca people occupied a territory that ranged from southeastern Nebraska to the Black Hills of South Dakota. The geographic features of the land, that is, major waterways and tributaries, a variety of other small streams and landmarks, were known by the Ponca. As mentioned previously, approximately 28 different campsites were occupied by the Ponca. Each camp was given a name by an unusual feature of the land, the location, or an event that occurred at the time of their occupancy. The exact locations of some of these villages are not known by present-day Ponca. This is due to the lapse of time since the Ponca lived there. However, the general location of the area is known. And the heading for this is A Traditional Historic Journey. In 1914, following the death of his first wife, K.H., now those are initials for a person, I'm not sure which name, who it is, stayed with his uncle Jack Pianissimo, or Pianissimo, near Niobrara, Nebraska. Grandpa Jack Pianissimo took and showed K.H. many former village sites. In addition to Niobrara and the Santee Reservation, they traveled to Shannon County to the Pahe-Shishude, which are the Badlands, and to the Pahe-Sabe, which are the Black Hills. They also visited old tribal sites in Tripp, Todd, Charles Mix, Bonham, and other counties in South Dakota, as well as Choteau, which is French, and I'm not very blessed with French. Choteau Creek, where the Ponca formerly lived, and to the old Fort Randall. K.H. also observed some village sites and significant landmarks in Nebraska, from Dakota County up to Niobrara and Missouri rivers, and as far west to Cherry County in Nebraska. He recalled going to a place near Genoa, Nebraska, where the old-time Poncas had lived. He said that place was called Wate. The Elkhorn River is also called by that name. The act of showing locations of former Ponca lands to the younger mind interested in the history is an age-old Ponca tradition that has been carried on for generations. At these locations, Grandpa Jack Pianissimo pointed out some burial grounds to K.H. Some years ago, a University of Nebraska-Lincoln official told me that Peter LeClaire had said Ma'aji was a burial ground on the current Niobrara State Park near Niobrara, Nebraska. I met and knew Peter LeClaire when I was a young man and had much respect for his knowledge of history. He and my father had taken me to several historic places in South Dakota. I mentioned to the official then that Ma'aji was on the north side of the Missouri River, where there are some yellow cliffs, but that was not a burial site. It seems that a map called the Evans Map marked out those cliffs, which can be clearly seen today. Ponca Helushka songs also mention the location of Ma'aji as a well-known battleground. The burial site on current Niobrara State Park has no name. The physical location of the burial site is on high ground above the Missouri River. This location is near a more recent village site known as Kuhewade, or place that causes one to be scared. Implied here is that the geographic orientation from the Ponca perspective is that the burial site fits perfectly into the traditional Ponca custom of burying their people on high grounds near their villages. Tribal taboos. The Ponca in past time never disturbed the burials of their relatives. They knew their location by some topographical system, but they never told any outsider where and who these people were. Some years ago, it was suggested that Joe Birdhead gave away information about these burials. Birdhead was known personally by initials KH, AMC, NC, JP, and other Southern Ponca, who spent time among the Northern Ponca for several years in the early part of the 1900s. It was said that Joe Birdhead was a man who understood the Ponca's traditional ways and that he had possessed, quote, medicine of a sort, because communicating information about burial sites to outsiders was forbidden. It is questionable that Birdhead actually did this. Additionally, the violation of respected tribal material culture or burials would have been particularly disturbing to one who possessed tribal medicine. Cross-cultural similarities. Dr. James H. Howard, a personal friend and tutor while teaching at Oklahoma State University, told me that his unbiased opinion was that the Ponca, among other tribes, came from a like cultural group from the east and southeast following the dispersion of those cultures. The schemes of study, he related, were the language pattern and other cultural patterns. It seems that most of the tribes emerging from the southeast count by fives instead of using the decimal system. The Ponca count by fives. This is only one example of the similarities. The tribes from the east and southeast had some common characteristics in their language and culture, although the language could be quite different. In the state of Nebraska, there are many burial sites. In some cases, the burials of different tribes appear to be the same. These burials to date have been attributed to other tribes by some archaeologists and anthropologists, but these conclusions remain questionable. Changes in folklore and customs. When I spoke with the elders, the subject of burials came up. I asked if the Ponca used a scaffold-type burial. They said yes, but the Ponca had used other methods of burial in earlier periods. Gradual changes occurred in the culture, namely ceremonies and rites, over a span of time. Visionary and external tribal influences from various groups made an impact on the people when they entered the plains. The Ponca, who established permanent villages with mighty or earthen lodges, ultimately adopted the plains teepee. These one-time farmers adapted to the plains where tribes were more mobile. The scaffold burial was practical and useful. For convenience's sake, cache pits were also used. The ancient burial custom in which the individual was set up and covered with poles and dirt also disappeared. The abandonment of this practice brought about religious rituals and ceremonies never before used. Methods for addressing the tribe's needs were apparently based on respect for the earth and the actual or real needs of the people, that is, physical and spiritual needs. Former practices then evidently changed. The elders said the scaffold burial had its purpose and was an adaptation to plains influence. Ceremonies have also changed during the last century. In the 1940s, a Ponca relative, Albert Makes Cry Jr., chose to live in the white community following World War II and did not return to the Southern Ponca Reservation until 1995. As a Ponca child, he had learned tribal songs, ceremonies, and dance. Returning to the reservation in 1995, he attended the annual Ponca powwow. He said, quote, "I understood and knew the songs they were singing, but I didn't know what they were doing out in the arena. They appeared to be a different tribe. I didn't see any of the old Ponca ritual procedures." End quote. This was after only a period of 50 years. Admittedly, pan-Indianism took much from each tribe in the 20th century, but it is clearly evident that cultures do change. Songs tell stories, as do remains. In the mid-20th century, two outstanding singers and oral historians recorded the songs of the Ponca people. Some songs are for the women's Ponca warrior dance, which is commonly called the scalp dance. These songs confirm the assertion that the Ponca did not scalp their enemies. They took the whole head. The Indian Sign Language gesture describes the Ponca by drawing your right hand face up across your neck. This is symbolic of cutting the head off. The Ponca are also known as Pa'amase, head cutter. One song speaks of Jinga Pa'eji, or bad boy, who was afraid of the head of a slain enemy. That man evidently was killed in a battle with the Ponca. Hathushka songs have stories relating to the taking of heads of the enemy. In 1993, I read over the field notes of Perry Newell supplied to me by the University of Nebraska-Lincoln. In the notes, I found a discussion about the Ponca practice of taking the whole head of the enemy. Newell also pointed out that some of the pit burials had trade goods as well as other fragments of material culture. The Ponca at that time were burying their people in, quote, jug-shaped pits. As I understood his writing, the pits were the same as those of the earlier period. Through observed and oral tradition, we have learned that the Ponca used a buffalo or bison skull at their annual sun dance. During an earlier period, they had used a human skull of an enemy warrior that was painted red. This was pointed out to me in the 1960s by Sylvester Warrior when I was gathering information on Ponca songs. This practice was discontinued before the Ponca's arrival in Indian Territory. It should be mentioned that the Ponca had a Sundance leader. He was in charge of the dance and all the paraphernalia used in the dance, including the skulls. Some were said to be very old. At the old Ponca fort site, according to the archaeological studies, the ossuaries contained, quote, headless bodies, and in one case, the body, quote, had been mutilated and, quote, jammed into the rib cage. Joseph Leroy, Northern Ponca, once told a story of how the Ponca had defended their territory by slaying some enemy warriors. After the Ponca had mutilated the body of one enemy warrior, they took the remains and dragged them about the camp. He said, I guess this is a quote, later, one old woman gathered up the pieces where they had been thrown in the dirt and buried them so the children wouldn't see them lying around. She told the people who were watching her, quote, they deserved this for attacking us when we wanted no war, but they are humans after all. And that quote was from Howard, 1995, page 140. If that were the case in our ancient history, it would be reasonable to suspect that those remains could have been placed there by a Ponca person. In contrast, if the area had been inhabited by others, the burials would have been very peculiar. Those people would have had to deflesh the bodies of their relatives and stuff them into the rib cage. We respect and appreciate schools of archaeology and anthropology and their efforts to trace the Ponca people's history or to extend it further back, to dispel conjecture and myth and put credibility into the origins of the Ponca. Oral history of the Ponca's legendary migration story and the several archaeological factors surrounding that story indicate that many tribes, including the Ponca, emerged from a similar or common cultural group. Additionally, Ponca burial patterns from ages past could be similar to those of another tribe. Artifactual evidence would not be a factor since the Ponca could have lived in the place previously, known the burial grounds, and come back later to use them again. Copper, which was mined by the Chippewa or Wachtawi, as the Ponca called them, was found in the graves. The Ponca in their oral history tell of living along the Red River near what is now Winnipeg, Manitoba, Canada. They very well may have acquired the copper jewelry from the Canadian Indians or mined it themselves. The foregoing concerns on the Ponca fort site and the many other sites are Ponca, as well as we understand our history and traditions. As oral historians and traditionalists, we believe that the human remains were Ponca and buried by Ponca. Scientific studies are sometimes determined by a minimum of proof and need not be conclusive. Some of the ossuaries in question might have or might have not been the remains of other people. But if they were other than Ponca, probably, and there are no ends to probabilities, out of some ancient religious practice and respect, even for the enemy, the Ponca buried them. The evolution of the burial styles among the people show a number of successful transitions from one culture period to another. The changes probably came about because the socioeconomic pattern they were accustomed to in the East and Southeast, in addition to the change of the environment. In historic times, other changes came about because of the Indian Removal Act. But cultures do not change so easily because the people tend to resist change. Through the socialization processes, they retained many of their customs in regard to the funerary rites. All burials today are the same as the conventional underground burials used throughout the United States. Former customs disappeared with the historical and cultural changes mentioned. The Ponca, who have retained many of their customs, have adjusted their beliefs to Judeo-Christian practices. Although the Christian influence is explicitly seen, some underlying Ponca customs are still practiced at funerals. The end. Everybody asleep?
No.
Good job.
How could you be
Good job
asleep when you
reading.
hear Ponca?
Good job reading.
Pardon? I'm sorry. Oh, thank you. Thank you
Go
very
ahead,
much.
Jonathan. We're gonna go from Jonathan to, excuse me, Sean Barber, and then Connie, and tell me about what you thought about the read. You go about 5 minutes if you can, or less.
Yeah. I liked it. I thought it was a nice historical representation. And also the territory is interesting to me because the University of Nebraska Lincoln, the city campus is built on a burial ground. I don't know if anybody knows that. And they say that it was Omaha, but you know, genetically, I know enough about genetics that can't tell between Poncas and Omahas. They're too genetically close to each other to decipher
You wouldn't
between
be able
those.
to tell the difference.
No, they can't tell the difference.
But the
So I
one thing I
think-
can tell you
Sorry
that
to interrupt.
the Omaha they try to claim everything though.
Right.
Can I interrupt real quick and see, does
Go ahead.
someone have their volume open? Does someone have
Yeah,
their
I
volume
do.
open? I'm sorry. I can't hear a thing. I'm sorry.
Oh, you can't hear?
Can we shut it off? I can't hear. There's someone's got their volume up or their microphone on.
Well, your mic's on. You rarely shut it off, so maybe it's a conflict with your own.
I apologize.
hear-
But,
Oh.
yeah, I thought that was informative as far as location. I'd been to those areas that they were speaking about up on the Missouri River and up by the Niobrara. I went up there a few years ago and was at those places. I'm interested in the burial ground, you know, where the University of Nebraska city campus was built. There's kind of a funny story, and I want to share this about that. They lost a lawsuit because they got caught with bones twice. The second time, they lost a lawsuit. The University of Nebraska did. I have attended the University of Nebraska for 4.5 years. They are not supposed to charge me tuition because in that suit, I am supposed to get free tuition. And there are 3 Omahas that I know of that have gone through the system, and the University of Nebraska says they know nothing about it. Anyway, I just wanted to throw that in. It just goes on and on. But I think part of what I think is important and what I understood is that where those burial grounds are anymore have been lost. And that seems to be parallel with many cultural things. That's important. Those burial grounds are important. And I wonder how that happened. Over time, I understand there are a lot of things that have gone on. But it seems that someone should know where those are. I'll quit talking.
I think that's really good because that's something I never knew about. And I heard that some of them classes up that way were supposed to be free through some of them colleges, and then I got some kind of email that said that one of these colleges up there, do you know about it, Sean? That they said us being Ponca that we only had to pay $1 for the everything.
No, I didn't. A college up here in Nebraska?
Yeah.
The
University of Nebraska, Lincoln. Yeah. Any University of
only pay
Nebraska
$1
campus.
for what? Only pay $1 for what?
For everything.
Nebraska Indian Community College.
That's what I was thinking.
That might be it.
That could be
It might be
it.
that one, the other one
Yeah.
you just mentioned, Connie. I mean,
Yeah.
Barbara, because it had something to do with the Indian college. That's what my sister was telling me. Is it accredited?
It's a 2-year tribal college, right, Barbara?
Yeah, there's a campus in Sioux City, Macy, and there's one in Santee.
Yeah.
Is that the one that Dre teaches at?
Yes.
Yeah, I was gonna say I
Good.
didn't think it was the University of Nebraska. Yeah.
No,
But the other
what
thing
happened?
about that is the land grant colleges like you're talking about, Jonathan, like Dartmouth, they're supposed to be eternally free for the local tribes, for whoever's land they took over. So
Right.
I see strength in your argument, because that's true
It
of
should be
Dartmouth and
free.
other colleges.
Yeah, it
Can
should
we
be.
find out about that? Because I'd like to go to that college
actually,
and we can.
I actually went to someone that knew about it. Her name was Mary Willis, and she downloaded several articles about the lawsuit. It was in 1998. And so I went to an attorney from Legal Aid, and he has provided me with a document, which is an article of discovery. Because it's a public document, they have to disclose it to me. The problem is I have 2 classes to graduate, and I don't want to make waves until I'm closer to graduation, because I don't want them keeping me from graduating over, something like that. So my next steps is to take in that document and say, you have to give me the lawsuit, because they've denied having any knowledge about it, which is not true. They have to provide me with a document. And the attorney I talked to said, if they will not provide you with the document, then you need to go to an attorney and take it to court. And then the document will be provided. But I have been told that there have been Omahas that have gone through the system. They're not supposed to charge any of the 14 tribes that were indigenous to this area. They are not to be charged tuition at the University of Nebraska, according to this suit.
Well, that's news. That's news to me. I mean, the only state I know in the Midwest that does that is Minnesota. Minnesota, the University of Minnesota, that's all indigenous nations of Minnesota go to their school for free, tuition free. That's the only one I
didn't
know.
know
It
that.
doesn't happen here in Wisconsin, that's for sure. Wisconsin's a land grant institution too. So if you read the history of land grant institutions, they made it's a stealing. It's a stealing of land for pennies, and then they turned it in. Yeah. So I mean, I hear you. It's a great argument, but I've never heard of that for University of Nebraska Lincoln. No.
It's a well-kept secret. Believe it or not, the education department of the Northern Ponca tribe had never heard of it. When I called them and discussed it with them, and they didn't know anything about it. So I'm really kind of wondering what's going on, because nothing makes any sense. But yet I have seen where, there are articles that I have seen where they have lost that lawsuit. So it's, I think they just tried to brush it underneath the table. So, just forget about it. And
worth following. It's definitely worth following up on. So,
yeah. The other thing that I thought, if I could mention it just real quick, is the migration up around Winnipeg, Manitoba. I think that's really interesting, and that's an interesting part of the history. I spent some time in Winnipeg because I was imported as an artist in Canada one time. But they were up there for quite a while, from what I understand. The Poncas were before they came down south. Anyway, someone else take a turn. I talk too much.
Go ahead, Sean. I'm going to use my mic. No, what you said was really good.
Yeah, good job, Jonathan. Wow, there was a lot in that. So a couple things that I had heard of, and I think Eagle had brought it up before about the pamise, the head cutting, and the hand gesture. I had heard that before. I hadn't seen that in the book because I haven't read that whole book. And then the other thing that stood out to me was they talked about Jack Paniska So I'd always heard that Paniska was really a corruption of Penishka. So I was always wondering if that translated to something, Penishka, because that's my family's name. So my great grandfather was Leander Paniska, and he had an allotment up by Niobrara, and that's where my grandma grew up. And then my mom, when she was little, when she was real little, they used to travel from Omaha by train over to Niobrara to go see. They called it the farm up then. So that was Leander Paniska. And so Jack Paniska, I've seen his grave up there in Niobrara. Because you were talking about burial grounds, but we do have a burial ground, a more modern burial ground, right next to the powwow grounds, where each family has like its own area. So there's like an area where Paniskas are buried up there, and that's where you can see Jack's grave. That's where my grandmother's buried, and different families have different areas up in that area. Northern Ponca families have different areas up there, and sometimes they had. When I first saw it, they had the I'm sorry, what is the raised one? The scaffold. So they had like a scaffold up there once. I think it was more just like a just for us to see it or whatever, because most of the burials, like I said, are more traditional in the ground now. But I've been around there because we always pay our respects when we go there to our relatives, relative graves when we go up there.
Yeah. Well, the thing is, on your Sean, on your last name, you guys aren't pronouncing it how it used to be. You call it Penishka, but it's Penishka. Penishka.
Penishka. Okay.
It's even in that book that we were reading out of. That book is talking. Grandpa Lewis stated it out the original way how it was before it got diluted on it. It means a tree frog.
A tree frog. Okay.
Yes.
So it's
Penishka. Like Omaha use it as a month. Barbara, what month did they use that as when they say little frog moon? Do you remember? I can't hear you.
Oh, I think April.
Yeah. They call it Little Frog Moon, the Omaha. But just remember how you're saying Penishka? It's Penishka.
Penishka. Okay.
Yeah, like this.
I have it in the dictionary too. It's on page 371, if anyone's interested.
This is the correct way. And this is how you guys are saying it now.
All right, so let me just say it one more time just to make sure I'm saying it right. Penishka.
That's correct.
Penishka. And it translates to tree frog. Is that what you said, Eagle Rod? Tree frog?
It's a tree frog.
Tree frog. Okay. And then I guess the last comment I would have is like when I listen to that, it just shows like the changes that happen in our culture, but it also shows the continuity. So those things go hand in hand. You know, people think that that things don't change, but we all know things change over time. You know, and if there's anything that Ponca people are, is adaptable, and we change over time. That's really, I think it's really important. Is like we do it, and we're Ponca. It doesn't mean we did it like we did it 300 years ago or 200 years ago, but that doesn't matter because it's the continuity of us as a people, and practices and customs change over time. So that's always something to keep in mind.
I mean, look at it. You heard what my grandpa said, what my sister Connie wrote. You know, not only we use a buffalo skull at our Sundance, they even had a human skull of a fallen enemy that they painted totally red. Now, if I walked up on a Sundance and I seen human skulls painted red, I might think, well, damn, I don't know if I should be here. But that just shows you the Ponca, they were vicious people. I don't care. People know us from everywhere from the past. And that just shows you how powerful and strong we are. We have to remember that. But now but not just how powerful warriors are strong, but we were known as great leaders and orators.
Right.
You know, an orator,
Right.
grateful people, and that's what we got to remember. And I hope you guys come down in the last week of June. We're sundancing. It's our second annual Sundance down here. And we're going to open it up to all of Degihan and all Oto, Missouri, and all Tonkawas.
All right. Awesome. Anyway, I'm done. So Shayna.
Oh, Sister Barbara.
Hi. Yeah, that scaffold you saw, Sean, about 5 or more years ago, they put that up when they repatriated bones and possessions from the museums that belonged to the Ponca tribe. And they put up that scaffold symbolically as a burial memorial for those that were put in the ground. And you know, the Niobrara, that park is just 12 miles north. And whenever I drive by there, I get goosebumps because there are certain hills that look like they were built. They don't look like natural formations. But I've never really inquired about them. And I was going to say kind of what y'all said about, you know, hearing in the past that it meant cut head, Ponca. But to see it confirmed in Lewis's book, I don't know, it's kind of scary. That's pretty extreme. But you know, scalping is extreme too. And like the old woman who said, the old woman who buried the disgraced bones said, you know, even bad people deserve respect in the end. I like that part.
Yeah.
I want to know, okay, maybe you can answer this for me, Jonathan, because the word cache, C-A-C-H-E, I always thought in French it was caché, and I've heard it pronounced so many different ways in my lifetime. How would you say that word?
If there's an accent, a gu on the end of the E, it would be pronounced cache.
Caché.
Cache. I think that's correct pronunciation. The thing with French is if there's a consonant on the end of the word, you do not pronounce it. If there's an E on the end of the word, sometimes the E is silent, represents nothing. If there are two E's on the end of the word, then E usually represents a feminine version of the word. If there's a second E, it will have an accent on it, usually an accent aigu, which is a acute accent, and then you pronounce the E. But in cache, I think that word has an accent aigu on the end, on the
Right.
E, which means that you would pronounce the E as an A. Cache.
Caché. That's what I always thought growing up. But then, you know how they mentioned that sometimes they were buried in jugular pits, you know, in other cultures and other plains cultures, those are also called caché, like the Hidatsa and Arikara would make those jugular shaped pits.
Yeah.
And, you know, I found it interesting because if I imagined the Ponca burying their food stores up by the Niobrara, I always imagined them in vessels like that in the ground. So I found that really confirming of one of the things I instinctually thought. But yeah, that I'm overwhelmed with guilt that I haven't read this. It's just such a wealth of knowledge. I got to dig into it. Thank you for reading that, Connie. Sean?
You're very welcome. I pick out bits and pieces. Pardon me?
What did you think?
Yeah, I pick out bits and pieces of that book, Walks on the Ground. I haven't read it complete in its form, you know, how it's presented, but I pick out little pieces and parts when it comes to things that I want to know or something that just, you know, just catches my eye or whatever. And I've probably read maybe 2/3 of it, you know, going that way, but I need to go front to back and get it over. I was noticing too that I know in Ohio, I used to live in near Columbus, Ohio, and they have burial mounds there that are they're really interesting, and it made me think. That's what made me think of them when, like Barbara was saying, that jug shape. They have what they call Indian burial mounds, and it's like a park, which is really odd. I
It's
don't
the
know
serpent mound, isn't
why
it?
they did it that way.
Isn't it the
Yeah,
serpent
there's
mound?
just several of them. Yeah. I don't know what that is, but I mean, it's if you could shape it like that in your head if you wanted to, you could put that together. But there are several, just everywhere. And again, the scaffold. I was curious. Was that sort of similar to like a pyre? How do you do that? I mean, they just held them up for ceremony and then buried them in the jug thing, or I mean, the scaffold makes me think of a funeral pyre, with the fire
Oh,
and all that good stuff.
whenever when you talking about the Ponca scaffold?
Yeah, it just made me think of a pyre, which is
All it was
flaming,
scaffolding
has
on
flames
legs.
under the body,
No, you had 4 poles sticking up,
right?
cross this way, 2 this way,
Uh-huh.
tied with a thong. The bodies were put in their best regalia or clothing, wrapped in buffalo hide, and wrapped from toe to head, tight as it could be, and they're set on there, and all their belongings are on there. That's what I was told when I was a little kid. That's all I know.
But that's just for ceremony. That was just for ceremony,
Oh,
right?
I
And
said, well,
then they bury them some other.
they're left there,
Okay.
like
Okay.
this.
I was just curious. Yeah. There was
Then they
something
have
else I had in my head, and now I can't think of it. I don't know what it was now. Oh, I was going to mention the southeastern versus where we are now, and where the plains ones, with southern and northern are together versus Canada. I mean, that just sounds like a hodgepodge of everybody mixing together. I know the language they say, the linguists say that it's a Siouan language, which means it's similar to that group of languages in that area, I guess. And it's just really curious because I know a lot of Eastern tribes besides the Seminoles in Florida. They meandered to the Midwest, and I wasn't very sure about any Canadian tribes at all if they ever came south, and I definitely didn't know that Ponca ever went to Canada. So that was quite interesting, actually, trying to figure how all that worked and how, I mean, language evolves over time. So, I mean, how would the language evolve the very same in each different area if it wasn't together and not apart, if the people were not together somehow? I don't see how one person could actually carry a language. So somehow they had to be trading with each other or visiting each other somehow to do that, which is, I just think that's really interesting how that would happen. I don't know. I just thought it was really interesting. I enjoyed reading it. May even go over it again. I'm good.
Well, that part where they talked about going to Canada, I don't know. I mean, the way he made it sound there, like we just traveled up there, but they said a band of our people went up there because, like I said, in the old days, they said we were close to 100,000 or more, and they said that when they went up there, they never came back. Other than Ponca growing up down here, we were told all kind of stories. I'm like, just like you read in that book, that KH. I don't know if you know what that stands for, but that's my grandfather, Kenneth Hedman, Kenneth Nudahunga. And so he was taken around by that old
Yeah, I
man
knew it was
Bird.
a.
He was taken around by him. And that man, back in during them times, old man Birdshead and Peter Clare, they still knew them barrel sites. But I don't know if you guys, the Ponca that are there now, if they even have a clue to where they were. But them people then, they knew for sure where them old campsites and barrel sites were. Them yellow cliffs when it says Mounds. Ma means cliffs. Z means yellow cliffs. So it's the yellow cliffs it's talking about. We heard all these stories. We just do not know where they're at. But we're told them as little kids by elders. But you know, being down here over 100 some years, of course we don't know where they're at physically. But we know how to say them in our language and when they tell us that, but we don't know where they're at. But from what Grandpa Lewis is saying, that his father got taken to them sites physically. But which still doesn't mean nothing to us because we didn't get to see them. And I like say now, say like one of you guys that would say you knew where they're all at, and you took me and Connie because we're from down here, and you took us and we could videotape it or camera, you know, or put a latitude and longitude on it, you know, that'd be different. But we'll never know until that happens. That's what I said. One of my dreams is when I come back up there to stay for a little while, if somebody still knows, there's got to be somebody that still knows up there. Maybe even if it's the Santee or the Yankton, somebody.
So yeah, so we've talked about that, Eagle. So Stacy Larrabee said that she was going to do a trip for our language and culture committee and show us some of the sites that she knows. I know when Dwight Howe was working up here as a culture director, he had shown my eldest son some of the old places and old forts. So that's one of the things we have on our to-do list as a language and culture committee is to see as many sites as are that people still know up here, because I don't know where all the forts are or all the things that are in there as well. So we wanted to do that. So that'd be something really good to talk about this weekend coming up, because I definitely would come and do that with
I'm
the group.
game. I can't wait to see it.
Oh, Ego, can I share my screen for 1 minute?
Go ahead.
It says I can't because someone else is sharing.
Go ahead.
Okay. Can you see that?
I can now. It's a scaffold.
Yeah, that I painted that of the scaffold that they put up there 10 years ago.
Wow.
This
Do you
is
see
right
those?
in the
That was a
Awesome.
man.
You are so good.
Right,
What'd you say?
Barbara?
Yeah.
That was a man because you got scalps hanging from it.
Those are prayer cloths. Those are ribbons of cloth. It looks like
The black
hair.
one?
Yeah, it was all
right here.
cloth.
I see a blue cloth right here. You see it?
Yep. It looks like hair. Yeah. All right, I'm gonna take it down now.
I love it though. It looks great. What is that? Acrylic or?
Those are oil pastels. Did you see it when it was there, Sean?
Cool. Pretty.
Yeah, so I remember when it was up at the top of the hill. So our family's plot is at the bottom of the hill, but when you climb the top of the hill, it was up on the top of the hill.
Yes.
And when we were there, it was I don't remember the cloths being on it when we were there though. I don't remember that, but it was up there for a while, and I remember looking at it because I didn't think that Ponca's did those old barrels with the scaffolds like that, because all I'd ever seen is the more modern. My grandmother was Christian, so she was put into the earth and everything. So that was new to me, seeing the scaffold up there, and it was really cool because sometimes the buffalo herds, our buffalo herd comes right up. There's a fence right up there, and they come right up there. Yeah,
Yep,
so
they visit the visitors. Yeah.
I'm telling you, man, Niobrara is such pretty country with the hills and the rivers and the Missouri River. I just no wonder our people were there, because it's just a beautiful place. Just a beautiful place.
Yeah, I have to say a couple quick things. When I moved here from New York, I used to visit, and on the way back home to New York, I would cry instead of crying when I left home, I would cry when I left here. And I knew that there was some pull here. And I just had to do it. And then another quick story is when I visited the scaffold area in the cemetery with Elder Stanford Taylor, who was the tribal historian for many years. And we were up there and we had little cups of ice cream we were eating, and we offered some to the ground, and we looked down on the ground, there was this big hole and a badger nose sticking out with little black beady eyes staring at us. And I said, I think that means our visit is done, Stanford. And we walked away backwards. But yeah. Oh, and then today I saw a video of a Ponca burial. I went to that Ponca genealogy page, Connie, after class, and I was able to join. And there's a burial, and I thought this was an Omaha practice, but at a Ponca burial, they had the children walk over the dirt after it was mounded on the grave. Eagle, are you familiar with that practice in Ponca?
I've never even heard of Omaha doing that ever.
Because the Omaha do it. The Omaha do it here in Macy. Do the Ponca do it?
Maybe they do it now, but they never did it. We've been doing that for a really long time.
Yep.
We start off from the east and we go to the west.
Yep. And what does that signify? What
It signifies that whenever you're walking over your loved one's grave like that way, that you might pick off what they left in life and carry them on their way of their being, and then to add to that.
Mm-hmm. Yep. That's what was shared at the gravesite, is that you might pick up the good ways of your ancestor.
Geez, I ain't never heard the Omaha doing that ever.
That's really neat.
Well, this was a Ponca burial, but Elder Rudy Mitchell was there to say a prayer, and some other Omaha friends were there, so it was at a Ponca burial, though, of a grandma.
Yeah, I don't know. I'm just telling you. I'm gonna talk to my Omaha. Well, I never heard them, but I want to know because I never heard that. We never been told that. Even in that stuff with Uncle Mark Swetland and their burials, he didn't mention that.
I went to two Hawate, who was the oldest member of the Omaha tribe. Her burial was 2 years ago, and it was done over her grave. And another one in the past that I've been to, it was done where the children walked over the hill.
But do you remember that book that Uncle Mark made?
The Dance Lodge book?
No.
Yeah.
I'm not talking about. I'm talking about that book, that Omaha Iete.
Yeah, Omaha Uskante. Yeah.
Connie, you got that book, and so you got it. Look at it. Look in there. I didn't remember seeing it in there. That one, yes. Look it up in the back on burial.
Take a look, Barbie.
I'm curious. I just want to mention this.
I'll go run and grab mine. Or no,
Go ahead, Connie. Help her.
I'm sorry, go
You're
ahead.
pretty fast, Connie.
Okay, I gotta go grab it.
Okay.
When I was in
Go ahead,
Winnipeg, I was up there for the better part of a year touring Canada, but when I was around Winnipeg quite a lot, and I was told that there were a lot of Poncas, mostly Poncas and Lakotas in that area.
Oh.
So now I'm really curious, because if that is true, then there are people up there that we don't really even know about or necessarily acknowledge.
But why would they not try to find us? We're well known for our singing.
Right.
People
I don't
everywhere.
know. Yeah.
Can you find out? Can you, people still up there? You can find out. Maybe we could bridge that gap. Jonathan, maybe we could bridge that gap if you could find out.
I don't know very many people in Winnipeg anymore. It's Steve Thompson, the Hungry Eye Agency, which was a talent agency affiliated with Bruce Allen Talent, imported me into Canada. And I worked with Steve Thompson and Frank Weinhardt, and there are different people, Ralph James, who was in Harlequin, and some of the members of Loverboy and Brian Adams and all those people that I was around. I've lost track with them, and most of them have moved to Toronto, and they work for an agency which is called The Agency in Toronto now. But I mean, there are a handful of people that I knew up there, and I wouldn't even hardly know who to get a hold of. And I, had I stayed, I would have became a Canadian American citizen, but I left a couple months before that would have happened. But I mean, I'm just tremendously curious about it, thinking about it now, because our singer in the group that I was playing with, her name was Kim Hines. And she was part native, and she told me that there were a lot of Poncas that lived up there. So that's important to know. Yeah,
I think
how
that's.
would you? Yeah.
I apologize,
Important.
loved ones. I gotta go. I gotta go to a Sundance meeting where some of our people come from the north, and they're waiting on me. I just gotta go. It's after 8 o'clock. So let me close this out with a short prayer, okay?
Thank you.
And then you sisters, if you guys could find out, like I said, we can inbox each other on Messenger. Okay?
Yeah.
Oh, and Daddy ho wakanda ampte uda wakanda ampekina wibla ho wakanda disigan ka udo he mami wakanda tiusangu tama wakanda uwa wakanda and Daddy ho wakanda chasing with tama wakanda idada buga wea Krishna wakanda Ponca ye te wakanda uwa wakanda and Daddy ho wakanda Ponca osni Ponca mashesti wakanda uwa wakanda disinge ka ijaje dita iwe manche eska gatena shega.
Oh.
I'll see y'all later.
Leave the home.